Hello Airsoft friends, and welcome to this video today, where today I'm going to help you be a better Airsoft filmmaker. Being an Airsoft filmmaker, there's, you know, a lot of things that you need to kind of like worry about all at the same time. Primarily getting good gameplay, or trying to get good gameplay, which is somewhere which I feel like I kind of struggle at. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to be the best Airsofter I can be. In order to do that, I know that I need to improve my physical fitness, my stamina, and things across those lines, which I'm trying to do. I've not done a 5k run this week. I would like to try and do one though, but I was at a theme park yesterday and I did, you know, a lot of exercise walking around there, alongside trying to make sure that you know, actually do good gameplay while you're playing Airsoft and not just get hit all the time. You need to worry about your kit, your cameras, what you're going to be using to record those awesome gameplay moments which you're going to try and create when you're out in the field. And there's a lot of different options. People will be very familiar with GoPros. I myself use a lot of GoPros, and also you may be familiar with RunCam because they make a lot of scope cams out there to record the footage. Generally speaking, with camera setups for when you're running and playing Airsoft, you'll have a GoPro style camera on your head so you can record your point of view when you're playing. You'll have a scope cam on your rifle showing exactly where the BB is going, so when you shoot at people you can, you know, actually see the shot. And then finally, quite often you'll find you'll have a face cam, so kind of like showing your face as you're like doing things. You can get your reaction. If you're talking to somebody else, you can show that shot, and that's actually the one that we're going to be focusing on a little bit today. GoPros are great cameras for Airsoft. They record, you know, really wide field of vision, so you get like a wide shot and you can see lots of stuff that's going on, and the quality of it is pretty darn good. You can get high frame rates, you can get high resolutions, and you know, micro SD cards are so big that you can have, you know, memory cards that will last all day, 2 days, 3 days. I myself run a 512 gigabyte card in my head cam, so if I go away for a weekend or a few days, I don't have to change my card. Everything is on that one card. Although my preference would be to offload that card every day just in case something happens to the card and I lose all that footage. For scope cams, I would say that RunCam is like the GoPro of that world because they're so commonly used across the place. There's many variations. You've got like the kind of standard RunCams, then you've got the RunCam Scope Cam, and then you've also got the more recent RunCam Scope Cam 2, which is the one that I use now for my scope cam and also, surprisingly, for my face cam. The RunCam Scope Cams come in a variety of different lens sizes, and essentially, the bigger the number, the more the zoom. So the RunCam Scope Cam 2s come in 3.6mm, 25mm, and 40mm. For the scope camera, I actually prefer to use the 25mm version instead of the 40mm. The reason being, the 25mm I find is much more, you know, usable across all my different rifles. Whether I'm using an SMG, a DMR, a rifle, or my sniper rifle, the 25mm camera works absolutely perfectly. Granted, it doesn't zoom in as much as the 40mm, however, you can enlarge the footage if you want to. It is only 1080p. The RunCam Scope Cam 2 4K exists, in which you can capture 4K footage, but I don't really feel like 4K is essential, and they do not do the 3.6mm version in 4K. And with all my cameras, I want to have as much usability as possible. I don't want to have to like go to a site with like my sniper and my M4, depending on how I'm feeling, and then have a scope camera for both of those. It's more costs, and it's just something which isn't really necessary. Also, I found in the past with a 40mm scope cam, if for some reason it's mounted a little bit funny, it's at a tiny bit of an angle, it's really easy actually to miss where the BB shot is going. Whereas with the 25mm, if for some reason the camera is angled or something like that strange has happened, you still have a lot of room in order to kind of like crop the video and move it to center, and you can reframe it while you're editing it, and that way you kind of like, you know, you just got more playroom in the edit, and that's something which I really enjoy. Coming to the face cam aspect of this, I have used a GoPro pretty much my entire life, and it's only recently where I swapped across to the RunCam 3.6mm camera instead. Like I've said before, GoPros give you great footage, and I was actually using my GoPro Hero 4 Silver for my face cam, and I think you'll agree the footage from it is really nice. It's super wide, which is great, the quality of it is nice, but there's two major downfalls for using a GoPro like this as your face cam. One, it's quite big and bulky, so when you're coming up to, you know, shoot through a window or try and get close to a tree or something like that, it's easy for that to force you to have to stick out more than you would do, which can ultimately distract you and also get you hit, which is something that we really don't want to do. The other thing I don't like about GoPros is you either need to have a load of batteries for them, or you need to have an external battery mounted on your rifle in order to power this, and I don't really like that. It's extra weight, it's extra faff, it's just stuff that I don't want to have to worry about or think about or have mounted to my gun, so if I can remove that aspect, I would be so over the moon. And again, that is where the RunCam Scope Cam 3.6mm comes into play. I grab my Crytac off the wall. You will see here, I've got this set up at the moment with my scope cam and my face cam. And in terms of size and, you know, sticking outness and just anything mounted on here. Like, I don't have any cables for my cameras running to a battery pack or anything like that. This is literally it, and it makes it so much easier for me to record content when playing Airsoft. Now, if I am to grab a GoPro and show you the kind of like similar example, because the way it has to be mounted is like out here, you can already see how much extra, you know, size there is to the mount when you've got the GoPro on there instead. And of course, I'll also have this wire running down the gun, which I'll use the Project Airsoft Ranger bands on to hold it to the gun. But I've got the GoPro mounted like that. I've got the wire sticking out down the gun, and then I also need to have like an external battery pack on there. So say for example, this GoPro here was my external battery pack. That would be then mounted on the rifle like that. And compared to having the GoPro versus just having the scope cam, you can see why I much prefer having just the scope cam. I've not mentioned it already, but in terms of battery life, there's enough battery life in this to last me all day. So I just charge this up at the start of the day. If it's, you know, recording a ton and I feel like I want to, at lunchtime, I can plug it on charge for like 30, 40 minutes, an hour or so, and that will 100% juice it up for the rest of the day. But generally speaking, I'll just rock up, have my cameras already charged, and I'll just use them throughout the day just like that, and I have no issues at all. So size, they're better, weight, they're better. In terms of accessories, they're better because they don't need anything mounted on the rifle. But there must be a drawback, and you know what? There is one, and that is the wideness of the shot. It is not as wide as the GoPro. Look, here's an example of what the GoPro looks like, and now here's an example of what the scope cam looks like. So it is not as wide as the GoPro, and that is a real shame. If they made this to have a wider lens, then oh my god, it would just be the most perfect camera ever. As it stands, it's not as wide as I would like it to be, but the pure usability and functionality aspect of this is enough for me to warrant using it over a GoPro, just because it's so much easier for me to use. RunCam, if you are watching this, please make a wider lens version of the Scope Cam 2. I will love you forever if you do that. Also, before I forget, with the Scope Cam 2, it is a great scope cam to use on your pistol in a CQB environment. In terms of mounting options, these things are so quick and easy to mount on and off compared to the Scope Cam 1, which I had the little bottom bit break on it so much. Although there is a metal replacement you can get, all you do is unscrew it like that with your thumb, and then you can take the camera and then put it onto another riff. And just like that, I have now mounted it onto my Norwich SSP-18, and I'll be ready to go for some insane CQB action. And look at that, it is the same size as like a flashlight. So again, size-wise, it's a lot smaller. It's waterproof as well, so if you're outside and it's raining, you don't need to worry about that. And you know what? My overall usage of the pistol hasn't changed at all. Like, there is a little bit of extra weight on there, but it's not enough that I would say would be like, you know, a noticeable addition to the pistol, because it's already kind of heavy already with the magazine in there. And of course, the Norwich SSP-18 does have the full metal slide. So there's not a huge amount of change in terms of just general feel with it as well. So if you're looking to get into airsoft filmmaking, or you're already airsoft filmmaking and you're using big old bulky GoPros as your face cams, it may be worth looking into the Scope Cam 2 3.6mm, as it genuinely is a viable option, and it's something that I'm really enjoying using. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed and learned some stuff today. Make sure you check out Project Airsoft. There's tons of accessories and stuff on there, including cases for the Scope Cam 2 cameras. So if you want to have a little look at those, pick up a case to protect it, or maybe you want to camo up the case so you don't have to paint and stick stuff to your camera, that could be the perfect thing for you. Huge shout out to all of my patrons for, you know, supporting the channel and just really helping me create content like this on the daily. So far, we have managed to get back to daily content Monday to Friday, and this is something I really do want to keep up. So thank you very much for your support. And if anybody else wants to support the channel, jump on the Patreon, become a channel member, or also pick up some items from Project Airsoft. Anything that you get from there also goes to directly supporting the channel, and I really appreciate every single one of you. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching the video. Remember to call your hits, and I'll see you in the next one.